Hannah Hauxwell is a daleswoman, a spinster, and Britain's most unlikely celebrity. When her story of extreme hardship on an isolated farm was first told nearly 20 years ago, she revealed an inspirational quality which endeared her to the nation. It changed her status materially, but it didn't change Hannah or her way of life. Then, as now, she had her reasons for remaining at Low Birkhat.
Attached to the place because my family have lived here since my great-grandfather's time. No one else has lived in this house since it was built but our family. And the lovely countryside, down the new, through the Iron Gate, down the new road. And I've often thought, sometimes it's my favorite walk. And I've stopped and looked and I've thought, well, it's one thing, if I haven't money in my pocket, it's one thing nobody can rob me of. Nobody can, it's mine for the taking.
Hannah bred one calf a year for market, but persuading it to go could present problems.
Ah, dear little beast. Oh, you little beast.
But that solitary beast yielded the major part of a miserable annual income.
Round about 250, 280 mark, somewhere in there.
And out of that, she had to buy fuel and food for herself and the animals.
I think I have a system of keeping expenditure down to the very bare necessities. In some, I wouldn't say that I really, in some respects, that I can even afford some necessities, but I keep it down to the bare essentials. I put the brake on and keep it on.
Another factor was loneliness. There's never been a man in Hannah's life, no prospect of marriage.
A good marriage is a good thing if one's privileged to meet anyone. I think there's all the difference in the world between a good marriage and being on one's own. But of course, if it isn't a success, well, I think there can be nothing worse than being obliged to share a roof with someone you're utterly at variance with. That's terrible. But that's something, it's in other hands. You can't choose. One can't go into a shop and say, I want a husband. I'm reminded of a very interesting article I read in a Dalesman. I think someone very like me mentioned to her clergyman this question of not finding a husband. And he said, oh, leave the matter in the Lord's hands. And she replied, that's all very well, but up to now, the Lord's made badly out. I think that's it. I'll leave it at that.
Isolation in such a place has its risks. Occasionally, Hannah gave pause for thought about the future.
I don't know. I think the time might come when I can't stay here. But as long as I can, I'm very much attached to the place. It's home. As long as I can, I think the old house and me will stay together.
The old house has few comforts and is especially vulnerable in winter, since it has no running water, and electricity came very late, paid for by public subscription. But the old house has always had music. Hannah's mother was a cultured lady, and she endowed her daughter with an appreciation of art, literature, and particularly music. The organ was brought to Low Birkhat by her mother. Christmas 1981 heralded the severest winter for years, but Hannah had no family or friends to share the occasion. Baldersdale once had a proper community with a school, a chapel, and a pub. All gone now, and so has Hannah's family. Hannah, an only child, was stranded more than 25 years ago in a partly abandoned dale, left to cope alone with the ceaseless work of a hill farm. And the burdens of winter in Baldersdale are relentless. Fame of the kind visited upon Hannah Hauxwell is usually a very temporary thing, but the public's affection for her remained constant. The money generated, however, was not spent on Hannah's pressing personal needs. Instead, she invested in more cattle. It may have improved her income, but her workload increased alarmingly. In winter, her cattle stay out in the top pasture day and night, and their survival depends on a daily delivery of fodder.
One's had a few winters over the years, and bad winters, and there's something in my very bones that rebels when the bitterness comes, the snow and the cold and the bitterness. No, I hate it. That's the only expression for it. I know there's a certain beauty which is very nice, but it doesn't appeal to me because I detest it so.
Hill and bed, come on. Zook, 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 zook. Zook. Zook, 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 zook. Hill and bed.
The temperatures are going 15 and 16 degrees below zero, probably more here. How can they survive?
They do fare better in these conditions than in the sleet, cold and sleet and clash, and when their backs are never dry and everything's wet underfoot. And when it's sleet, perhaps rain, and then it turns to sleet and freezes. That's the worst kind of weather for animals.
And quite apart from the animals, Hannah, how about yourself? How are you looking after yourself all on your own down here?
Well, I have to do as I can. Now, I don't do so badly, but sometimes in winter time, well, I haven't always time to get a meal, much less cook one. All my time and energy is taken up with looking after the cattle. I don't get about as swiftly as, there again, one doesn't walk about as quickly as they used to, and or do things as easily.
Yes, Hannah, you're not getting any younger, and your health isn't perhaps as good as it could be. How many winters like this can you stand, do you think?
I don't know. I'll just have to see. That's the only thing, to hope for the best and just see how it goes. That's life. We just have to travel on as we can.
And the opportunity to travel became one of the benefits of Hannah's celebrity status. She was 46 when she first became known, and she had rarely left the Dale, just annual chapel outings, when there was a chapel. Among the invitations was a request to attend the Women of the Year lunch in London as a guest of honour. She had never been to London before, so she prepared very carefully. Since she had no water on tap, her laundry had to be done in the reservoir below Low Birkhat. And the first new dress since her mother's funeral was purchased. After all, she was to stay at the Savoy Hotel and meet the grandest ladies in the land.
And a Hauxwell. Miss Marguerite Wood. Councillor Mrs.
Why have you never come down to London before?
Well, I neither had the means financially nor for the opportunity.
Would you exchange your life in the Dales for, for going to functions like this and living in London? I mean, could you?
It's nice for a while, but not. I wouldn't think on a permanent basis. No, I would need to be quiet and to get back to the hills and.
How do you feel about being presented to the Duchess of Gloucester?
I beg your pardon.
Sorry, you're going to be presented to the Duchess of Gloucester. How do you feel about it?
Looking after you. You
Yes,
all right?
yes, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Well, I didn't know I was to be presented to her. Oh, it's very wonderful. Yes. I hope I'll behave in the correct manner. That's all.
Hannah speaks.
It's Hannah Hauxwell, Yorkshire.
Very nice to you.
Heard so much about you. Who was looking after your farm
The
today?
neighbours looking after my farm.
It's not the most busy time of year, is it?
No, it's really the best time of year to be able to come.
Let's do a picture of the two again. That's fine.
Could you go back a bit, Hannah? Back to the Duchess.
That's fine.
I really ought to be my
Now,
husband here because he's the farmer.
Hannah,
I want to
Slightly closer, please, if you would. Duchess.
This is where we have to talk very naturally with ourselves. Usually the press tells you what to talk about.
Yes.
But at least we don't get that today.
Am I mistaken? I had the impression that you come from the continent, do you?
Yeah, well, Denmark, yes, that's right.
Yes.
I've been here for about 4 years now. I'm slowly getting into the farming business.
Man, just here. Thank you. Lovely. Okay.
It's been a wonderful experience, but of course it's been just for a while. I knew that, and I've enjoyed it very much. And I'm like the young Englishman in The Prisoner of Zenda. He was a king for a day, and I've been a lady of leisure for a few days. But now we're going home, and of course there is no place like home. There's my animals, the little dog.
And another winter to face. Winter always comes early to Baldersdale and leaves late. Low Birkhat Farm stands exposed to all the elements, 1,000 feet above sea level. Over the years, the strain of running a stock farm single-handed clearly began to take its toll physically. But Hannah showed no inclination to consider a more comfortable alternative.
Can I ask how old you are now, please?
55. Gone August, on the 1st of August, yes, 55s. Yes.
And how are you keeping? How's your health?
Oh, not really so bad. I've been blessed with a good physique, really. But one gets a bit tired. The old bones protest sometimes. And one's hands, they're not as nimble as they used to be. Oh, dear. It's as hard as nails. I think there's a little bit of rheumatism. It's just that, I get impatient when I'm doing things and they're not as nimble as one would like.
Do you not think you'd be more comfortable away from Low Birkhat and all its problems and all its responsibilities?
It's a two-sided thing, yes. One would. Yet one's attached to the place and the animals. One's as if there's a battle inside one. That's what I mean by liking the cattle so much in the place. They form chains, which sometimes I wish weren't there, but that's how it is. Well, this is Rose, of course, the mother cow, and grandmother now. Two of her daughters, the oldest one, Puddles, and Patch. He's a grandson, Bubbles, the big one. And he's another grandson, the little Peekaboo. They're half-brothers, those two. And then I have Christmas somewhere. It's behind puddles. And the little heifer calf bunty, yes. I sometimes think they like me little family. And sometimes rather like children, especially the little ones, because you bring them up from babies. And of course, one day sometimes happens I'd either forgotten to shut the gate, and the door had been open. I must have been out, and the gate was open, and the door, and the kitchen wasn't as full as it is now, but there was only just a nice passageway, and so I came back to the house, and there was Whiskers, the tall, broad heifer along the passageway, and I thought, well, what am I going to do with her? She hadn't room to turn around. Anyhow, she rose to the occasion. She reversed, and all was well.
And what about when you have to send them to market, or when they get too old to live comfortably? I mean, what happens then?
That isn't a happy time. That's the biggest fault I have to animals. You become attached to them, and then you don't like parting with them. But that's the way it is. Partings do come. But I don't like to think about it.
Summer at Low Birkhat is spent in the main repairing the ravages of the previous winter. Dry stone walls are extremely vulnerable to frost. And raising a good crop of hay is another vital concern. Winter fodder for the cattle depends upon it. Hannah hires a man with the machinery to do it swiftly and efficiently, prepared to work far into the night to dodge bad weather. And as the nights draw in once again, Hannah has to contemplate the prospect of the end of another season and the start of the one she fears.
Ooh.
Sometimes the temperature drops so low that the stream flowing a few yards from her door, the principal source of water, freezes solid. And she's obliged to make the difficult downhill journey to the reservoir to fetch water for herself and the cattle.
One dreads the winters. I dread this one. I hope I'll be able to manage do my own turn. It isn't living during the winter months. In summer I live, and in winter I exist. Ridiculous, really, that I haven't time or strength sometimes to attend to my own needs. Because I turn tired and then I have to stop, and then perhaps after a meal and a lapse of time after that, I go out to work again. So I go out sometimes turn out at 1 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes work through the night and go to bed at daylight. And it's amazing what a cow drinks. There's an old saying, you never miss the water till the well runs dry, and you don't know how much water the cattle drink till you have it to carry.
There is a further hazard which forces Hannah to hang her food in plastic bags from the ceiling to protect it from rodents driven to seek winter shelter within Low Birkhat.
We've always had rats. I'm sorry to say, one time and another. There was one a while ago I met at the foot of the stairs. I don't know which was the most frightened, it or me. but fortunately it went the other way. No, I hate, they're horrible things. I don't like them.
Another 5 winters went by at Loughburg Hat, some better than others, but not one benevolent enough to give Hannah the opportunity to fight back, to find some time to rest and restore her failing strength. The will to cling on and her devotion to her animals remained undiminished, but even she privately began to admit that perhaps she had endured a winter too many. The consequences of her losing battle showed clearly in her living quarters. She was known by now from Scandinavia to Australasia, and thousands felt the need to communicate personally. Every available space filled with mail and gifts, and she threw nothing away, not even empty tin cans.
Well, Hannah, the years are rolling by.
Yes, our time goes on. We all get older. That's one thing. Nothing can be altered. We all get older.
Well, now you're a pensioner.
Oh, yes, a pensioner for 12 months now. Yes. I didn't think I would reach 60, or I was supposing that I did, that I would be as happy as I am, and with people in my life that I have. Like Edith Piaf, no regrets, not at all.
The thing that I've noticed more than anything is that your living room seems to have shrunk.
Yes, it's got more filled up. Yes, I keep saying to people that I think that they should bring, when they come, that I'll either want an extension or a marquee. It's funny, if you throw things out, you'll find them so long after how you think, oh, that would have been useful. And it's gone. Yes. No, I'm a hoard and taking care of things and to a fault, perhaps.
You find it difficult to throw things away?
Yes, yes.
But you don't have financial worries now, do you?
Well, I still tend to be rather careful with money and rather worry about money. I think that's one of the evils, at least in my case. It mightn't apply to other people who have been in similar circumstances. But in my case, I think once you've been, had maybe not as much as you would like and as much as is nice to have, I think it breeds something in you. I still worry about money.
Now, let's talk now about the future, Anna. I mean, you know
Yes.
that a lot of your friends are worrying about you. They worry every winter.
Yes.
And they're rather hoping that perhaps there'll be a major change.
Yes, a time will come, perhaps pretty near. But it is a proper and a big upheaval, emotionally, physically, mentally. It's just as if my world was falling to pieces. Everything I've known and sure of, security, everything. I don't know how I'll leave here or how I'll feel after I have left. I don't know. It's my world. And I don't know. And it's lovely. I think lovely scenes. The moonlight on the water. I think it's one of the loveliest things. I've stood and watched many a time, even when I was sometimes tired, and in winter time, which I don't like the winter. But no, it's marvellous. And very lucky to live in such a lovely place.
In 1987, there was a significant move towards the serious consideration of leaving Loughburg Hat. Hannah asked a valuer to survey her land, buildings and cattle, and invited a farmer friend to come and assist.
So these are 2 cows and calves. We'll have a jolly good calf there, anyway.
That's a beauty.
A good one. And have we any idea how old these cows are? We'll have to inquire.
We'll have to inquire.
Well, that's not a bad heifer calf either, but he's a jolly good Charlie Cross calf, isn't he?
It is. But this is the star. Well bridged up is that calf.
That's a good calf.
How are you doing?
Well, don't call me back to help you, and then... Anyway, we're across.
Good country for ladies with high-heeled shoes.
My legs are getting stiffer as well. You made it.
Whoa!
Can you make it?
Help!
Needing a bit of drainage doing. It's a good square building.
It is.
Don't think we can get round that other end there, can
It'd
we?
be interesting to know when it was built.
Well, no doubt Miss Hauxwell will be able to tell us.
Yeah. It's coming away, is that?
And that'll be the stable underneath.
I believe, yes, that's stable at that end.
Full of wood. Anyway, I don't suppose that'll be used again, will it?
No.
Right. Front door hasn't been opened for a while.
No. I don't think we'll bother now.
Sound wood staircase.
Mm. Oh.
Floor
right.
seems good.
Yeah.
I must really get anything.
Bit of ceiling down.
Bit of ceiling trouble. In need of some work, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Hannah, we've had a good look round the estate.
Yes, thank you, yes.
Been a nice day for it as well.
Yes, well, I'm very pleased about that. It's no thing to be walking about in bad weather.
No, it isn't. We nearly went over at Wellington Tops in 1 or 2 places.
Yes, so I'm not surprised.
You'll
yes,
have to get your spade out, you know. And
yes.
see to that next time we come.
True.
Aye.
Yes, it's about, I agree.
Mr. Pratt has had a good look round the land.
Yes.
And, of course, he's a specialist with regard to valuations of that.
Yes, thank you.
Well, try to be, anyway. But
and, so I think you might have 1 or 2 questions to ask you.
Yes.
we're looking at all the land and the house, you know, as with vacant possession, aren't we?
Yes.
It's, in my opinion, a well-built house with a slight problem upstairs of a hole in the roof, maybe, but it's only a small hole, isn't it? It's that needs attention.
Yes.
Some of your woodwork is in need of attention, windows and so forth.
Yes.
I think you made a ground, it's a little bit on the soft side, but we were working around looking for, well, I made a ground saying about £1,000 an acre for that. As soon as you get early, some of the years are beginning to go on, isn't it?
Yes,
You wanted
yes.
to sell
Well, you see,
things
quite true.
I sold mine in spring.
Yes.
Just over 2 years, 2.5 years ago, and that's the time that you first mentioned that you were thinking about doing the same as I did.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, probably. Yes, time goes
Yes,
on.
it does. It
Yes.
does. It's gone on. And 2.5 years has gone by, and you're still here.
Yes, yes. Oh, well, you know, I'm not one to be rushed.
I know,
You know,
no, I can see that. I can see that. But what I would like to tell you, and a little bit of advice I would like to give you,
yes,
is please don't put it off too long.
No.
Urgent advice, which Hannah had heard many times during the last decade. It required contemplation over a long period. The emotional ties to the only home she had ever known were profound. One particular place was very special.
I always found solace and comfort, and with the water, even, as I've said, when the times when things weren't so good, I would come down here and to what I call my beloved Mississippi and Hunderbeck. I am happier through that Iron Gate, through here, than in my own fields. And the beauty, there's nowhere like, to me, there's nowhere like it. Never will be. And whatever I am, and wherever I am, this is me. This is my life. And if there's a funny old person in years to come, a ghost, walking up and down here, it'll be me. I've wandered up and down just for walks and sticks and stones, and which I've needed various things. But a big part of me, wherever I am, will be left here. That's me. That's nowhere else. There's nowhere like it.
In time, Hannah did go a stage further. She asked her friend, a journalist, Jim McTaggart, for advice about available property.
I think you'll be impressed with the inside of that one.
Yes.
It's really quite plush.
Yes.
Inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the outside.
Yeah.
But as you say, sometimes photographs, sometimes they make them look better than they are. And sometimes I have seen odd ones where they didn't do quite justice. So, as you say, to see them.
Well, I took these two pictures, so they probably don't do them justice. You know,
I beg your pardon. I didn't mean that. I was just meaning in a general way. No, they look very nice.
Anyway, I'll give you, if you'd like, a look round them tomorrow, and maybe one or two at Middleton or
Thank you
the Coddeston
very
one.
much.
So
Thank you.
Have a little look round the area and see what's on show. You know.
Thank you for telling me about them and the offer of a ride's much appreciated. And opening straight onto the road. It's pleasant enough in a way, but it's...
Since Hannah would only consider property in the villages closest to Baldersdale, the search for a new home was prolonged. Eventually, she was sufficiently impressed by a cottage in Cotherston, which stands at the entrance to her dale, to make an appointment to view. Providing the sale of Low Birkhat went as predicted, the price was within her range.
Hello, are you
Hello.
Miss Hauxwell?
Yes, I am.
Oh, pleased to see you.
Thank
Just
you.
come in, please.
I've come to, if I may, to look at the
Yes,
house,
come in,
please.
Miss Hauxwell.
Thank you very much. And may I take my Wellingtons off, please?
Yes, you
They're
can.
rather dirty to come into a lovely house.
Yes.
I put
That's all
them
right,
out
I'll
of,
put them
of
here
the
for
way.
you.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's very nice, isn't it?
You can switch this thing here and you can put it on, say, for an hour or whatever.
Yes.
Half an hour just to warm up your place.
It's lovely, it is.
Yes.
It's grand.
But if you are in doubt, there's always the milkman who'll come and see to you about the heating.
Yes, thank you.
Because he's very good.
Yes, thank you. That's very nice to know, because I'm hopeless
through here
with...
now into the lounge.
It's marvellous for watching the world go by, isn't it? Oh, it's very nice.
Very pleasant.
It is.
You're never lonely, you know. There's always something passing.
Yes, yes. I think that's one of the attractions about the house.
This
Thank
is the
you.
front bedroom.
It's a lovely room.
It is nice.
It
isn't
is
it? You get
nice.
quite a lot of furniture in here.
Yes, that's what I need, because
And
I have a
we
lot.
have other 2 bedrooms, and there's the bathroom.
Yes, please. Yes, thank you. That's very nice. I haven't such a thing at home as a bathroom.
Be
And-
grand
oh,
for
it
you, won't
will.
it?
I'm like a child where there's running water and a bath.
Oh, it's beautiful here.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Oh, it's absolute luxury.
Come in. Thank you very much. Come in, Miss Hauxwell.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. What do you do?
Take your stick from me.
Thank you very much. Will it be in your way? Thank you.
Do sit down,
Thank
please.
you very much.
Very good to see you.
Thank you.
Since you were in touch with me, Miss Hauxwell.
The meeting with the bank manager to negotiate a bridging loan progressed smoothly. Her property was entirely free of mortgage or other debt. Indeed, Hannah Hauxwell turned out to be in very sound financial health.
Yes.
But there are certain formalities we've got to go through, and I'm wondering if you've got any documentation or sale notice in connection with the sale of Low Birkhat Farm. Have you brought anything with you that I can have a look and see?
Yes, I have, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How long will you have been there, roughly?
Well, I'm 62 and I could probably was 3 when we came. I don't really know. But I
59 years or something
something like that, yes. Yes, quite.
Well, I hope you have another 59 years at the cottage then.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We shall, in fact, make the arrangements with the solicitors for the rest of the formalities in that direction, so you don't need to worry any more about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Usually, when the leaves begin to fall, it strikes a bit of a chill to your heart. But this time, there's been the comforting thought that, well, I won't be here for the winter. Didn't me ever think it would come. Even now, sometimes I can't believe it's like sometimes as if it's something happening to somebody else rather than myself. But it's for the best, I think.
Can you tell me how your health is, please, Hannah?
Well, it's not. It could be a little bit better and a bonny lot worse. Put it that way, yes.
Having any sort of medical treatment?
Yes, I take tablets every day. I have to have them regularly every day. Yes.
What's that for?
I think it's blood pressure.
Sometimes you get pains in the chest a little. Has that been? Have you told the doctor about that?
Well, he knows about it. Yes, probably that's what he thinks might be the little bit of angina. I don't really know. I don't ask.
Angina. He thinks it's angina.
He gives me a good verdict when I have gone and.
Because that's going to worry your friends. That news will worry your friends.
Yes, well, I'd rather they didn't know then. I don't want people to be worried about me.
Tell me, who is this?
Oh, this is Rose.
Oh, the senior cat.
Yes, my lovely Rose. She did me a great favour in the winter when the electricity was off so long for about 3 or 4 days, and I had nothing to heat water with for hot drinks. And so I had Rose. I'm not a milk lover, but I had Rose's milk, and that was very welcome. And then sat in the stall next door to her because it was warmer here than in the byre than in the house. No, I like her very much. She's lovely.
One assumes that it's going to be difficult to part with her, I assume.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes.
The day of the parting. But a satisfactory arrangement had been made.
Good friend and neighbours getting them, and I know he'll be good to them, and so that is very lucky in that respect. Look! Oh, fuck. please. Let's get to... Come on, Kush. Kush pads.
That's all right,
Hello
Helen. We've got them now.
Yes.
No need to worry.
No, thank you very much. And
now don't worry about them. We'll
thank you very much. I know they have a good home.
I'll the dash now.
It's not a road
Ta-da.
for dawdling. Goodbye.
Low Birkhat Farm was offered for sale by private treaty in 3 sections. But Hannah's personal effects were to be publicly auctioned. Before that could happen, the residue of several decades of hoarding had to be disposed of. The house, land, and all outbuildings raised enough money to pay for her new home outright. And there was enough remaining to ensure that with careful investment, there would be a comfortable income for the rest of Hannah's life. Hannah's name will live on in Baldersdale after her departure. Her main pasture, one of the 3 sections, turned out to be a haven of rare wild flowers and grasses. The Hauxwells had never used inorganic or chemical fertilizers on their land, so it was totally untainted and considered unique in the area. A local wildlife trust concluded the pasture to be so important that they secured a substantial grant from an international wildlife organization and made a successful bid. It will be preserved for all time in the Hauxwell Manor and named after Hannah. The day of the sale. Given the chance, she wouldn't have parted with one stick of the family furniture. She reserved enough to more than fill the cottage in Cotherston, but some of the larger pieces had to be sacrificed, including her 4-poster bed.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll gather up, please. As you all well know, we're here today on behalf of Hawes Auction Mart to offer for sale the belongings of Miss Hauxwell. There will be no VAT on anything. There's a 5% commission to the purchaser. And we're not guaranteeing anything whatsoever today. You've got to be your own judges. It's buy, pay and take away. Now, as far as taking away is concerned, if we see an old lady struggling with a chest of drawers, we will give her a little bit of a hand. The young and able-bodied young men will be at the end of the list. Right, the treacle drum here. Anybody a tenner for that? The fiver, anybody? Come on, a fiver, a fiver. £3 a pound, then let's be getting on a pound bed. Have £1 bed, you come down to the pound. Have £1 bed, if you like, anybody, have £1. I thought that was worth more. Have £1, anybody else sharp at £1, Mr. Linus? Right, the muck drags here. Anybody a fiver for those? A pound, anybody again? The pound, come on, be sharp. £1 bed, you come down at £1 bed at £1. Mr. Wilson. The 2 cheese weights, anybody a tenner for the pair? A fiver, anybody? The fiver. The fiver a pound, then anybody a pound. Come on, be sharp, a pound. The pound. pound bid, £1 bid, and you come down at a pound. £1 bid, anybody else sharp of £1. £1 bid, and you come down at a pound. Anybody else sharp now of £1. £1 bid at £1, Mr. Linus.
It's funny to think that, you know, there'll be somebody else's and not part of your life anymore. But I'm a bit daft anyway. I get attached to things, too much so. I know it is a failing, because there is more important things. People are more important. But it's a failing I have, and I think the leopard doesn't change its spots. I'm too old, so I'll just go on liking things and likely hoarding them and keeping too many also.
70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 70, 80, 190, 200, 10, 220, 30, 40, 250, 60, 70, 80, 90, 300, 10, 20, 30, 40, 340, 340, anybody else sharp at £340, £340 bid, 50, 360, 370, 370, 370, anybody else sharp at 370, 370, 370, Mr. Shard. Right, we know then. Is that it? Well, I think that concludes the sale. I thank you all very much for your attendance and your attention. I'm sorry to say the pay office is in the corner of the tent there.
It's a case of off with the old and on with the new. How I'm going to do it, that's another story. I've that to find out. But still, there's lots of things to look forward to and lots of things to be grateful for. And if people have their health and their eyesight and good friends, a lot to be thankful for.
I think everyone wishes you well, Hannah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before she departed Baldersdale, Hannah Hauxwell had a sharp reminder of just what she would leave behind. The winter of 1988-1989 will be remembered generally as mild and benign, but in Baldersdale, the snowdrifts were as deep as usual.
What do you want to take next?
Let me that press, please. No, it separates from the cupboard part, but the top's firm, the fancy bit on the top. Okay,
One second.
please.
Steady. Watch the top of the door when we go through. You have to go down here. Right. Okay. Down a bit more.
whatever I am, wherever I am, this is me.